What's up guys, Lou here, back with another video. Today it's gonna be a little something different. It's cause I was thinking, talking to Jack, trying to figure out something interesting, a new kind of series. Recently you may have seen a video in which I switched to the BlackBerry Priv as my personal daily device. Essentially what happened was I took my SIM card out of my Galaxy S6 Active, put it into the BlackBerry Priv, and then went on to use that for, I guess, what is now almost 3 weeks. Getting all these phones coming into the Unbox Therapy headquarters all the time, and it was like, man, how do I decide which one to use and for how long, and so on and so on and so on. So I decided that the best way to deal with this influx of phones is to use them as my personal device. Remove the SIM card, insert it into the next device, and actually fully transition my lifestyle. The purpose of this video is to continue that transition from the BlackBerry Priv and now into the hot, fresh Galaxy S7 sitting in front of me right here. As you can tell, it's also wearing a very slick D-brand tuxedo there. So I'm just gonna tell you a little bit about my experience with the BlackBerry, some of the differences, benefits, drawbacks, and what I'm looking forward to with the S7. So, the Priv. I was concerned about switching to this device. How well was BlackBerry going to be able to integrate a real Android OS onto some of their hardware? Of course, this also features the full keyboard, which, I mean, how would that all work? It hasn't been as much of a transition as I expected compared to my Galaxy S6. As much as I like the texture of the material on the back, it's just a big phone. You know, angular corners and whatnot. Moving from that to the S7, my goodness, the S7 is one of the comfiest phones I've ever held. It's got curves in all the right places. Sometimes you forget just how nice it is to have that real single-handed functionality associated with a manageable screen. This super slim edge on the edge just makes it a tiny bit less comfortable to hold, in my opinion. Nonetheless, this is the one that I'm going to be using for the next little while. Now, just to wrap up a little bit on the BlackBerry, I would say it's a fairly easy transition for somebody coming from Android. After all, it's running Android and everything you would expect to find on Android. I got a lot less use out of the keyboard than I expected to get, unless it was for scrolling. This touchpad that exists on here is kind of nice. Maybe if my mobile lifestyle was more text-centric, the keyboard and some of its functionality is cool for that, as far as like moving around your cursor without having to try and find it with your finger. The speaker, at first, I was a little worried about it. I was like, man, it seems like it should sound louder. I tried it out with a bunch of different sources, and I determined after some time that the speaker's actually pretty good, and it's forward-facing. I think ultimately the thing that I'm going to be happiest to get away from is the camera. It is just not on the level of the cameras in the S7 and S7 Edge. Things I'm most excited for about the S7, this very manageable form factor, incredibly comfy to hold. Just having my lock switch back on the right-hand side instead of the left, getting the really quick fingerprint sensor back is also a plus. I have swapped out the theme. There's a theme called Android 6.0 in the theme store, which gives you a far more Nexus-like look to your S7. I highly recommend it. You can see I have the plain black background. In conclusion, I would say that what we're finding here is a lot more parity as far as manufacturers are concerned. Once upon a time, there was this vast gap between the market leaders and everybody else, and that thing is shrinking now. Sure, the S7 is still sort of at the cusp. It's at the bleeding edge from a performance standpoint. These new devices are now water resistant up to 1 hour, I believe, in a foot of water. Who doesn't want that? Also, expandable storage. Both of these devices feature it. They dropped the expandable storage on the last generation. Now they've added it back. How can you hate on that? So it's the big moment now. It is time to switch SIM cards. I have the tool of choice. We're gonna move from the BlackBerry Priv to the S7. I'm excited. It's like a religious experience here. It's a combo tray. How cool is that? How dare you? It's like It's freaking out without its SIM card. It's screaming for life. Ready? Set. Boom. Stay tuned to my social media, Twitter, Instagram, and so on, to see all the pictures I'm shooting on this device from this point forward. 2 weeks! We shall start our relationship, and then I will swap you out for something new. Keep it locked. It starts now. You and I. And sometimes Jack.